Good morning and howdy, y'all. Hey, can y'all tell the difference between a real smile and a fake smile? The first one I gave you when I first turned the camera on was a fake smile. This one is real. I am in pain today, y'all. I don't know why. I slept good. I slept real good. I didn't know anything after I put my head on my pillow. Well, about 1 minute after I put my head on my pillow, I didn't know anything until I woke up after about 6 hours of sleep, which is about 2 hours more than I normally get. But I got pain out the roof today. I don't know what's going on. I'm tired. I feel tired. I did my normal early morning routine, making me coffee and eating a granola bar and feeding Kitty Callie. That's the first thing I do every morning. Feed her, clean her litter box out. I've got a friend here in town that has one of those litter boxes that cleans itself, and it has an app for your phone, and it'll tell you when the cat went there and just all kind of stuff. Anyway, I looked at those online. Those son of guns are $869. So I'll just keep doing it the old timey way. It's a whole lot cheaper. But let me hush and get started here. And y'all, yesterday afternoon, yesterday evening, last night, I watched 3 or 4 sermons on YouTube about Leviticus, hoping, my intent was that I could learn something and make it more interesting, more enticing, more helpful for us. They didn't help me at all. So I'm just going to keep plodding my way through it. One of y'all, I can't remember which one of y'all, had a good observation yesterday in your comment. I can't remember what the observation was now, but it was interesting, gave me something to think about. So anyway, let me get started here. I don't know how many chapters Leviticus has, but I'll be glad when it's over. Goodness gracious. It's got a lot of chapters. "27 chapters, and we're starting chapter 14 today. We're barely halfway there. But I guess I better quit my belly aching and start reading. I gotta have some coffee, y'all. This is my second cup. The coffee drawer over yonder was out of that Death Wish dark coffee that I found recently that I love. And so I just had, my first cup was regular, that wasn't Maxwell House because Walmart was out of Maxwell House. Folgers Black Silk is what I had this morning. It was like drinking water just about. So I found another box of that Death Wish dark roast coffee. That's what I got now. So I'm going to take a couple of sips and then I'll stop flapping my jaws and start reading to you. Hey y'all, my snow that was supposed to start today and go through tomorrow has been moved back a day. It's not starting till tomorrow now. It's cold here. I'm freezing my rear. But there's not much snow. The snow that was here is just about all melted away. There's still a little bit left, but not a lot. But it looks like there's more coming tomorrow. So I've got some errands I got to run today. I don't want to get out. I don't like getting out, but I got to get out because once the snow gets here, I don't get out. The truck's going to go in the garage after I get back today, and it'll stay there till the ground is clear again. I got enough stuff here to last me a year or longer. All right. I'm done flapping my jaws. I'll get down to brass tacks now. Chapter 14 of the book of Leviticus. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, This shall be the law of the leper in the day of his cleansing. He shall be brought unto the priest, and the priest shall go forth out of the camp, and the priest shall look, and behold, if the plague of leprosy is healed in the leper, then shall the priest command to take for him that is to be cleansed 2 birds alive and clean. I'm all thumbs today. My hands are shaking and my fingers aren't working right. And my brain for sure isn't working right. My mouth seems to be working okay though. Oh goodness. The priest shall go forth out of the camp, and the priest shall look, and behold, if the plague of leprosy be healed in the leper, then shall the priest command to take for him that is to be cleansed 2 birds alive and clean, and cedar wood, and scarlet, and hyssop, whatever. And the priest shall command that one of the birds be killed in an earthen vessel over running water. They sure needed an iPad or something back then to keep notes on all these commands, because I sure would have a hard time remembering them all. There are so many of them and very detailed. As for the living bird, he shall take it, and the cedar wood, and the scarlet, and the hyssop, and shall dip them and the living bird in the blood of the bird that was killed over the running water. I sure would not like to be the living bird. I think I'd rather be the dead bird than the living bird. And he shall sprinkle upon him that is to be cleansed from the leprosy 7 times, and shall pronounce him clean, and shall let the living bird that has blood all over it from the dead bird loose into the open field. I bet that living bird with the blood all over it doesn't get any more mates after that. That's just my thinking. And he that is to be cleansed shall wash his clothes. Well, duh. Yeah, I think I would too. And shave off all his hair, and wash himself in water, that he may be clean. Isn't that why we wash ourselves in water, so that we can be clean? And after that he shall come up into the camp, and shall tarry abroad out of his tent 7 days. But it shall be on the 7th day that he shall shave all his hair off his head, and his beard, and his eyebrows, even all his hair he shall shave off. Well, I do all of that, except the eyebrows. I trim them, but I don't shave them off. That would just look weird. But I don't have leprosy. I never had leprosy. And he shall wash his clothes. I do that usually a couple of times a week. I'm all caught up right now. Everything, all the clothes I own are clean right now. And he shall wash his flesh in water, and shall be clean. I wash my flesh in water. Not very often, but I do it. I'm joking around with y'all. I'll behave, or I try to behave. Me behaving is not a guarantee, but I try. And on the 8th day he shall take 2 he lambs. Why don't he say 2 male lambs? 2 he lambs without blemish, and 1 ewe lamb, female lamb, of the first year without blemish. You know, that idea of them having a notepad is a good idea. How are you going to know which lambs are 1 year old or 2 years old or 3 years old? You got to keep records of stuff to be able to do everything correctly that they're being commanded to do here. And on the 8th day he shall take 2 he lambs without blemish, and 1 ewe lamb of the first year without blemish, and 3/10 deals of fine flour for a meat offering mingled with oil, and 1 log of oil. I don't know what a log of oil is. I know what a barrel of oil is. I sell as many barrels of oil every month as I can. And this past month it was pretty good. And the priest that maketh him clean shall present the man that is to be made clean, and those things before the Lord at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And the priest shall take 1 he lamb and offer him for a trespass offering, and the log of oil, and wave them for a wave offering before the Lord. I think it'd be a whole lot easier just to not trespass. And he shall slay the lamb in the place where he shall kill the sin offering and the burnt offering in the holy place. For as the sin offering is the priest, so is the trespass offering, it is most holy. And the priest shall take some of the blood of the trespass offering, and the priest shall put it upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot. And the priest shall take some of the log of oil and pour it into the palm of his own left hand. And the priest shall dip his right finger in the oil that is to be left behind, and shall sprinkle of the oil with his finger 7 times before the Lord. And the rest of the oil that is in his hand shall the priest put upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot, upon the blood of the trespass offering. I thank God for Jesus. Literally, I thank God for Jesus. And the remnant of the oil that is in the priest's hand he shall pour upon the head of him that is to be cleansed, and the priest shall make an atonement for him before the Lord. And the priest shall offer the sin offering and make an atonement for him that is to be cleansed from his uncleanness. He's going to be unclean after he gets that blood splattered all over him, on his toes and on his ears and so forth. And afterward he shall kill the burnt offering, and the priest shall offer the burnt offering and the meat offering upon the altar, and the priest shall make an atonement for him, and he shall be clean. And if he be poor and cannot get so much, then he shall take 1 lamb for a trespass offering to be waved, to make an atonement for him, and 1/10 deal of fine flour mingled with oil for a meat offering, and a log of oil, and 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, such as he is able to get, and the one shall be a sin offering, and the other a burnt offering. And he shall bring them on the 8th day for his cleansing unto the priest, unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation before the Lord. And the priest shall take the lamb of the trespass offering and the log of oil, and the priest shall wave them for a wave offering before the Lord. And he shall kill the lamb of the trespass offering, and the priest shall take some of the blood of the trespass offering and put it upon the tip of his right ear of him, upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot. And the priest shall pour the oil into the palm of his own left hand, and the priest shall sprinkle with his right finger some of the oil that is in his left hand 7 times before the Lord. And the priest shall put of the oil that is in his hand upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot, upon the place of the blood of the trespass offering. Hey, y'all, excuse me a minute. None of my joints are working good. Reaching over for this cup of coffee just about made my right shoulder hurt. Well, it didn't make it hurt. And y'all, my right leg that I broke in early December, it is swollen today. It is twice the size it normally is. I tried to put my jeans on earlier. I couldn't get them on because of, number one, I can't bend that leg this morning enough to get my jeans on. And number two, my leg is so swollen it wouldn't fit. So I don't know what's going on, but I got pain today. And it's so cold here that cup of coffee just about got cold. And the rest of the oil that is in the priest's hand he shall put upon the head of him that is to be cleansed, to make an atonement for him before the Lord. And he shall offer the one of his turtle doves or of the young pigeons, such as he can get, even such as he is able to get, the one for a sin offering and the other for a burnt offering with the meat offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for him that is to be cleansed before the Lord. This is the law of him in whom is the plague of leprosy, whose hand is not able to get that which pertaineth to his cleansing. And the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying, when ye be come into the land of Canaan, which I give to you for a possession, and I put the plague of leprosy in a house of the land of your possession, and he that owneth the house shall come and tell the priest, saying, it seemeth to me there is, as it were, a plague in the house. Well, duh. You think so? You reckon? Then the priest shall command that they empty the house before the priest go into it to see the plague, that all that is in the house be not made unclean. And afterward the priest shall go in to see the house, and he shall look on the plague, and behold, if the plague be in the walls of the house with hollow strakes, greenish or reddish, which in sight or lower than the wall, then the priest shall go out of the house to the door of the house and shut up the house for 7 days. And the priest shall come again on the 7th day and shall look, and behold, if the plague be spread in the walls of the house, then the priest shall command that they take away the stones in which the plague is, and they shall cast them into an unclean place without the city. And he shall cause the house to be scraped within round about, and they shall pour out the dust that they scrape off without the city into an unclean place. And they shall take other stones and put them in the place of those stones, and they shall take other mortar and shall plaster the house. And if the plague come again and break out in the house, after that he hath taken away the stones, and after he hath scraped the house, and after it is plastered, then the priest shall come and look, and behold, if the plague be spread in the house, it is a fretting leprosy in the house, it is unclean. And he shall break down the house, the stones of it, and the timber thereof, and all the mortar of the house, and he shall carry them forth out of the city into an unclean place. Priests back then had a full-time job, and it required them to do just about everything. Moreover, he that goeth into the house all the while that it is shut up shall be unclean until the evening. What's going to make them get clean all of a sudden? And he that lieth in the house shall wash his clothes, and he that eateth in the house shall wash his clothes. And if the priest shall come in and look upon it, and behold, the plague hath not spread in the house after the house was plastered, then the priest shall pronounce the house clean, because the plague is healed. And he shall take to cleanse the house 2 birds, and cedar wood, and scarlet, and hyssop. And he shall kill one of the birds in an earthen vessel over running water, and he shall take the cedar wood, and the hyssop, and the scarlet, and the living bird, and dip them in the blood of the slain bird, and in the running water, and sprinkle the house 7 times. And he shall cleanse the house with the blood of the bird, and with the running water, and with the living bird, and with the cedar wood, and with the hyssop, however you say that word, and with the scarlet. But he shall let go the living bird out of the city into the open fields, and make an atonement for the house, and it shall be clean. This is the law for all manner of plague of leprosy and scall, S-C-A-L-L, scall, and for the leprosy of a garment and of a house, and for a rising, and for a scab, and for a bright spot, to teach when it is unclean and when it is clean. This is the law of leprosy. Wouldn't you hate to have seen his law for COVID? Goodness gracious alive. Well, he probably would have recognized that it was what it was, and not gone crazy like the governments all over the world did. And the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When any man hath a running issue out of his flesh, because of his issue he is unclean. And this shall be his uncleanness in his issue, whether his flesh run with his issue, or his flesh be stopped from his issue, it is his uncleanness. every bed whereon he lieth, that hath the issue, is unclean, and everything whereon he sitteth shall be unclean. And whosoever toucheth his bed shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water. What else would you bathe yourself in? And be unclean until the evening. And he that sitteth on anything whereon he sat that hath the issue shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening. And he that toucheth the flesh of him that hath the issue shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until evening. And if he that hath the issue spit upon him that is clean, then he shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening. I'll tell you what, if somebody spit on me, they'd be needing to do a whole lot more than just wash themselves. And what saddle soever he rideth upon that hath the issue shall be unclean. And whosoever toucheth anything that is under him shall be unclean until the evening, and he that beareth any of those things shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening. And whosoever he toucheth that hath the issue, and hath not rinsed his hands in water, he shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening. And the vessel of earth that he toucheth, which hath the issue, shall be broken, and every vessel of wood shall be rinsed in water. And when he that hath an issue is cleansed of his issue, then he shall number to himself 7 days for his cleansing, and wash his clothes, and bathe his flesh in running water, and shall be clean. And on the 8th day he shall take to him 2 turtle doves, or 2 young pigeons, and come before the Lord unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and give them unto the priest. And I'm sorry I'm not looking up anymore. I got pain. It hurts to look up and to hold the Bible up higher. And the priest shall offer them, the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for him before the Lord for his issue. And if any man's seed of copulation go out from him, then he shall wash all his flesh in water, and be unclean until the evening. And every garment and every skin whereon is the seed of copulation shall be washed with water, and be unclean until the evening. I sound like a broke record, y'all. You got to be old to know what a broke record is. The woman also with whom man shall lie with seeds of copulation, they shall both bathe themselves in water, and be unclean until the evening. And if a woman have an issue, and her issue in her flesh be blood, she shall be put apart 7 days, and whosoever toucheth her shall be unclean until the evening. Hang on a minute, y'all. And everything that she lieth upon in her separation shall be unclean. Everything also that she sitteth upon shall be unclean. And whosoever toucheth her bed shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening. And whosoever toucheth anything that she set upon shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening. And if it be on her bed or on anything whereon she sitteth, when she toucheth it, he shall be unclean until the evening. And if any man lie with her at all, her flowers be upon him, he shall be unclean for 7 days, and all the bed whereon he lieth shall be unclean. And if a woman have an issue of her blood many days out of the time of her separation, or if it run beyond the time of her separation, all the days of the issue of her uncleanness shall be as the days of her separation, she shall be unclean. Every bed whereon she lieth all the days of her issue shall be unto her as the bed of her separation, and whatsoever she sitteth upon shall be unclean as the uncleanness of her separation. And whosoever toucheth those things shall be unclean, and shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening. But if she be cleansed of her issue, then she shall number to herself 7 days, and after that she shall be clean. My house is shaking. We having an earthquake? And on the 8th day she shall take unto her 2 turtles or 2 young pigeons, and bring them unto the priest to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. This is weird. This house is shaking, y'all. And the priest shall offer the one for a sin offering and the other for a burnt offering, and the priest shall make an atonement for her before the Lord for the issue of her uncleanness. Thus shall ye separate the children of Israel from their uncleanness, that they die not in their uncleanness when they defile my tabernacle that is among them. This is the law of him that hath an issue, and of him whose seed goeth from him, and is defiled therewith, and of her that is sick of her flowers, and of him that hath an issue, of the man and of the woman, and of him that lieth with her that is unclean. All right, y'all, that was chapter 14 and 15. That's it for now. And if the good Lord's willing, I'll be back later with more. And if he's not willing, then I reckon I'll see you up in heaven. God bless y'all, friends. I'll talk to you later. Y'all have a wonderful day, and y'all on the other side of the world, y'all have a good rest this evening.